What's up, guys? This is your boy, the Average Kemalantito here, back with another video for Injustice 2 Mobile. And in this video, we are going to look at what improvements could actually take place in Rise of Krypton solo raids, as well as the Kryptonite artifacts. And we are going to look at some gameplay using four of the Kryptonite artifacts. There are a total of six Kryptonite artifacts, and I do not have a couple of them: the Kryptonite knife and the Beta Club. But other than that, I do have the other artifacts, and we are going to look at some gameplay using those artifacts, as well as what changes could be done to those artifacts to even make a better gameplay experience. And let's get on with this video. So let's jump into the solo raid event that we have here, and let's look at the rewards also that we kind of get while we are doing the solo raid event. So I am in Heroic 3 in Rise of Krypton, and you can see like the rewards are not much. And one thing I would definitely like for the solo raids to have a change is supplying only, first of all, only Kryptonite artifacts in Rise of Krypton and Dawn of Apocalypse artifacts in Dawn of Apocalypse. So the reason I want this change is because in League raids you get Azure artifacts only. So why do you even want to give the other artifacts in the solo raids where you get the like Azure artifacts also in the solo raids? It doesn't kind of make sense because you would rather have the only event specific rewards for the artifacts. I understand that they want to make money, NRS want to make money, so you do have the pay to win option as well. But apart from that, for the free to play players, definitely something else is needed. Otherwise, in Heroic Mode 3 alone, defeating boss Batman is gonna be ridiculous without the help of the artifacts. If you do not have any of the artifacts, you're not gonna do any damage other than using your King of Atlantis Aquaman team. So let's even look at the rewards. So the other aspect that I definitely want here to change is granting of this gear reforges. First of all, the number is pretty less, I'll say. So even at Heroic Mode 3, you see like 150 reforges. You might think that this is very huge if you're a beginner, but if you're an advanced player, you would definitely know that you require a lot more reforges to even get your one particular character optimized to the max potential ability. So with that being said, I definitely would prefer, instead of having a reforged token like the gear reforged token here, grant an artifact reforged token. So the artifact reforged token is kind of very hard to get. So there are only like a couple of chests, I believe, which grant the artifact reforged. And other than that, there are no possible ways other than spending a huge amount of money to get like the artifact reforges. So this definitely doesn't help the cause at all for the free to play players, as well as the pay to win players, because you're spending a huge amount of money just to get the artifact reforges. So definitely I would prefer, instead of having this gear reforges here, substitute it with the artifact reforges. Other things also actually doesn't make sense in Rise of Krypton, so we are going to look at a possible comedy here. The comedy is like you can see here. So at level 2, this is boss Cheetah, Heroic Mode 3, you get 30 gear reforges. So it's a common sense that at level 3 of Rise of Krypton, Heroic Mode 3, you're gonna get more reforges. But let's see what happens. We jump into level 3 and we get the same 30 reforges. So this doesn't make sense at all, that you're progressing a higher level and you're getting the same reforge. It doesn't make sense at all, same amount of reforge. So definitely this is something that NRS should look into, because I believe even I'm not going into the pay to win and the other aspects, this definitely should have a change, because you want to play a higher tier, because you want to get a higher reward, which brings back me to like another point here. So let's jump into that point. This is the reward that you're kind of getting for defeating boss Superman. So you're getting a level 1 kryptonite artifact, which is the kryptonite sphere. So you might say that it is there for Dawn of Apocalypse as well. You get a level 1, and I condemn that as well. It's kind of ridiculous, like you get a level 1 as you progress through the heroic modes, it doesn't make sense at all, because what do you want to do with it? You just want to shatter it for the materials? It doesn't make sense. So I believe personally that as you increase the level of the heroic mode, the number of level, the basically the level of the artifact that you're getting as a reward should also increase, because that's something logical, because you have fought hard and progressed, and that's why you definitely would want the level of the artifact that you're getting as a reward to be better. It should not be just chances, it should be just better, as simple as that. Like at level 3, you just give a level 3 kryptonite spear, and then also my another point comes in. Kryptonite spear is not the best artifact in Rise of Krypton, so definitely it grants the highest attack stat and has some defensive measures with you can actually regain health once you're doing a special, but that is not useful. Instead of having the kryptonite spear, rather we should have the Lexcop Warsuit as a reward here, because it grants the highest attack and definitely is much more useful than kryptonite artifact. You can use the Lexcop Warsuit in arena, champions arena. It grants armor pierce against the bosses as well, grants you defense. It's much more fun, it's much more useful than the kryptonite spear. And the beta club is, I'll say, like it's a mid-level according to NRS, with the granting of only 20,000 attack, as compared to 32,000 attack at maxed out level 10. But the beta club does more damage across most of the bosses, so definitely the Lexcop Warsuit as well as the beta club is a much better artifact to kind of get from raid rewards, at least on finishing like boss Superman, because kryptonite spear simply doesn't make sense to get as a reward. So definitely that is some change that I would have loved to have, and I don't know whether they're going to implement, but you never know with NRS, because they have had done some refactors in the past, and even multiple refactors of characters like Arkham Knight, Batman, and Darkseid, as far as I can remember. So with that being said, let's look into the other parts of this video, and let's jump into this kryptonite spear again. Like I was mentioning, kryptonite spear, like 40 hits and like 40 hits you need to do to make it unblockable, is useful against breaking of the shields like Mythic Wonder Woman, but definitely is not much more useful than that. So definitely this requires some replacement, and at least if you're giving this, at least give it at a higher level, because definitely at level 1 it doesn't make sense at all. So with that being said, let's jump into the other parts and let's look at few of the kryptonite artifacts and what they do and how ridiculous they are in most of the cases. Let's look at this kryptonite bullets. The kryptonite bullets is the most common artifact that you're gonna get if you're purchasing the kryptonite bundle. So I have purchased the kryptonite bundle quite a few times, and I don't even recall how much I've spent, but definitely I've spent quite a lot. And most of the times I've got this kryptonite bullets, which is ridiculous. It has 55% chance to power drain 3 power bars on ranged attacks. Who does that? I mean, who plays using ranged attacks alone? So I will have a gameplay at the end of this video where I'm just using ranged attacks, and it just looks outright ridiculous that you are doing ranged attacks. So definitely, again, a very less amount of attack bonus as well. 30 special attack damage against opponents with less than 5 power bars. Nobody cares actually, to be honest. Even if you upgrade it, even if it goes higher, you do not want to like power drain, keep on power draining using this particular artifact. Definitely, this is not useful. And with an amount of drop that we get of the kryptonite bullets in the kryptonite bundle is also ridiculous. So let's look at the other artifact. This is the kryptonite artifact, kryptonite glove. So this is a decent artifact because this increases the damage that you do. Let's say even jump back again to the kryptonite gloves. So yeah, this is kind of good because it increases that damage, because through the basic tag and swipe attacks you kind of increase that damage, which is good for the high basic attack doing damage teams, like for example the Justice League team, the League of Anarchy team, even the Batman Ninja Catwoman team, who do a lot of basic attacks, and of course let's not forget Black Manta as well. So with that being said, let's look at the other kryptonite artifacts too. So let's jump into this one. So this is the kryptonite artifact Metallo's power source. like you stack up the power, and you keep on stacking up the power by just blocking, not power, rather the damage. You keep on stacking the damage by just blocking special of the opponent. So if the opponent is not doing a huge amount of damage, then what is even the reason for doing this? So this looks to be fun to play with, but from a strictly damage perspective, this is not doing literally any damage at all. And I'll definitely have a gameplay of this as well at the end of this video, where you can see how this particular artifact functions. So with that being said, this is again a mid-tier level artifact because you get a more attack compared to the kryptonite bullets, but definitely not at all useful for the rise of Krypton solo raids. So let's move on to something else. Let's see the other artifact, which is the Kryptonite artifact, the Flashing Blade. So this gives 65% damage boost on basic attacks for each buff on an opponent. Now, let's break this down. Why do you want to have a buff on an opponent, or why do you even want to allow a buff on an opponent? Is the first question I have. The second question I have is, you want to do more number of specials, more number of basic attacks without the opponent attacking you. So the only buff that you're gonna get on the opponent is when the opponent kind of starts attacking you or has a passive which gives it a buff. So definitely you want to mitigate the amount of damage that the opponent is trying to do on you. So this particular effect doesn't make sense at all. So instead of having the buff on the opponent, if it was plus 65 damage boost on basic attacks for each buff on your teammates, it would make a lot of sense. It would be a buff on the character. So if you do, like for example, consider like Multiverse Armor Supergirl, who does buffs like critical attack resistance, then increases defense, all these buffs. So in that case, you can increase the damage boost on the basic attacks, or say even instead of the basic attacks, you could say if it was for specials, then it would make much more sense. But definitely, opponent receiving a buff, and as a result of that, you are kind of going against that buff and trying to increase it for yourself doesn't make a lot of sense. Definitely for me, this particular artifact doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. Again, this is a mid-tier artifact because you get more attack compared to the kryptonite bullets, but the way this works is ridiculous. So let's jump into the next artifact, which is one of the best artifacts of Rise of Krypton, and I personally believe it's one of the top tier artifacts that you can actually have. And this, along with the Beta Club, is definitely the best artifacts of Rise of Krypton solo raids. So let's look at what this artifact does. 75% chance to armor pierce on specials. At level 10, this is 100%, which means like irrespective of having an armor on the boss, you're gonna do an armor pierce. And this is incredibly helpful for fighting against boss Superman, and also against like bosses which have higher defense. So definitely this is useful. And in like arena and champions arena, you can do like just one single SP3 from like Multiverse Armor Supergirl, and it's gonna wipe out a dark side with full health. It's gonna wipe out with a single SP3, and that is definitely fun. So this is an incredible effect to have on the artifact. Then successful special activate armor for 10 seconds that increases defense by 30% and activates tenacity that doesn't allow debuffs to be applied to the wearer. So this again is very useful in fighting boss Superman. So definitely this artifact is much better compared to the kryptonite like spear, which you get as a reward in the Rise of Krypton solo raids. So also you get a plus 1% damage boost for every 1% defense on an opponent. This is way more useful in arena and champions arena, but definitely not that useful in like raids, in like solo raids, because most of the bosses do not have a lot of defense. Also, you get additional health, which is a defensive measure. So you have four passives. Each of them is a mixture of offense as well as defense, and definitely this makes this artifact way more balanced, way more fun to play with. And also you get the maximum attack boost that you can get from the Rise of Krypton artifacts. So definitely this should be the reward in, I believe, in finishing off like the moods in Rise of Krypton solo raids. So with that being said, I'm gonna jump into some of the gameplays that I have at hand in like using of the kryptonite artifacts, and I'm gonna just test it out in campaign because if you are following my channel, by the way, make sure to like and subscribe if you have watched till now. So if you're following my channel, you would know that I use the kryptonite artifacts in most of my gameplays in Rise of Krypton solo raids. So you might want to check them out as well. I leave a link down in the description for those playlists. So let's jump into a bit of a gameplay here. Let's kind of fast forward a bit. So here I have, let me show you. So I have the Metalos power source equipped on Arkham Knight Batman. So what this does is it's going to accumulate the power, or rather the damage, and then I keep saying power because of the name, I guess. So it's going to accumulate the damage, and then it's going to do on the opponent only if it's blocking. So let me start with the gameplay. Let's start with the gameplay. All right. So let's forward it a bit.
I won't be patsy this time.
I did a block, and you can see like there is a damage accumulation. So the 55% of the damage that Deadshot did is accumulated on Arkham Knight Batman, and you can see a counter here which is damage accumulation. And this gets actually progressively increased. So if I block again, this is going to show a number into 2. Let's see that happening as well.
I always find a soft spot.
So you see the multiplier has increased by 2, and this keeps on increasing, but the amount of damage that you're going to do through the special ability is not going to be very high because the amount that the opponent is doing itself is very less. So with that in mind, let's see how it looks once I perform the special. So here, let's see if I'm doing the special here. So I'm still blocking. It's into 4 now. Let's okay, into 4, and I do a special. Finally, the damage would have, as it is, kind of knocked out Robin because Arkham Knight Batman is kind of pretty much developed up. But definitely, like I said, this is not a worthy artifact to have. Let's look at the gameplay with kryptonite bullets, and you're gonna find it very funny. So I have, let's see, I have the kryptonite bullets equipped now. Let's see what happens here. Click on fight, and remember what kryptonite bullet does. It drains power on ranged attacks. So if you're going to do a ranged attack, then only you're going to drain power. So let's look at what's happening there. So I tag in, and I'm going to do ranged attack. So power drain, and I'm just literally dashing back and doing ranged attacks only. The opponent is just standing there, so it's kind of ridiculous, and I'm almost at the leftmost corner, and I'm able to power drain, but that definitely doesn't help the cause a lot. This is funny, so I'm just gonna keep quiet and watch it, enjoy it, because it's pretty funny. Nah, man, nah. I literally have nothing to say because this is outright ridiculous that they have such a mechanics with the kryptonite bullets. So definitely not at all useful. And one of the important kryptonite artifacts that I missed, and I believe should have been a mid-tier one with granting of more attacks. Let's jump back into this video. Let's jump back, and that is actually the kryptonite ring. So let's see, let me check here. I have, yes. So the kryptonite ring is definitely an useful artifact. So if you're getting the kryptonite ring, don't shatter it because it's gonna be very useful. Because first of all, at level 10, it has 100% chance to like disable the special move 3 as well as the super move for 7.5 seconds at level 10. So that is going to be extremely useful while you're facing boss Brainiac in Rise of Krypton, because you're going to disable the super move of Boss Brainiac, because Boss Brainiac, if he does the super move, he is gonna wipe out your entire team, and your pip gets wasted. So with that being said, definitely this is an useful artifact, and I'll personally feel the only change that could have taken place with this artifact is granting of more attack. Instead of making it a basic one with a 12,000 attack at level 10, it could have been a 20,000 attack one at level 10. So with that being said, this concludes this long rant about Rise of Krypton, and as well as the Rise of Krypton artifacts that we have, the Kryptonite artifacts. So I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and let me know down in the comments below what you guys feel about these Kryptonite artifacts and the changes that I had suggested, as well as few of the gameplays that I have shown in this video. So with that being said, this is your boy, the Average Gamer 98 over here, signing off. You guys take care, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace.